In this episode, I talk about a stuffed giraffe going to the Ritz Hotel and having a massage.
We also speak about biltong and the legal ramifications of it. Welcome back to episode 2 of Contact Center SA. There we go. That's the second one coming up, and we are delighted to have you here with us today. Lance, how's it going?
Good, thanks, Mushfiq. Welcome to everybody. And a really thank you to everyone that subscribed and left some messages. I'm going to pop some of those messages on the screen at the top and at the bottom. There we go. You should see it. Thanks a lot for commenting. And I'm hoping that we're going to have some more interaction as we move on with this channel.
Yes, definitely. We've got some really good feedback from industry leaders, industry participants, and we've got some interested sponsors from Nike, and I'm kidding. But yeah.
we wish that was the case.
All right, let's just do it. And let's get to the program. There's some free advertising there for you, Nike. So if you heard me, let's use this.
Okay,
Lance,
I want to get straight into it. And I think this is a bit controversial, I guess, for some people, and that's okay. And really, this is a topic that I want to bring up from an information point of view, but also I'd like to get some industry interaction on this topic. And it's a topic of customer experience and let's call it effortless customer experience. Excuse me.
So, Lance, customer experience effort. What is this?
It's the effort that our customers go through when they're trying to engage with our product, our brand, and our organization for that matter. So, for the most part, we in the industry of customer service always drive the wow factor. We always drive the going over and above the expectation of the client. And certainly I have been in the industry for as long as what I have. That's been my drive too. However, going through some of this research that I was doing, I came across a webinar done by a gentleman by the name of Matt Dixon. Now, he was the head, I think, of research at the time, and we're talking about 2016, somewhere in that region.
So in contact center terms, that's like probably 50 years ago. Okay,
in terms of where we're at today. And he was heading research for a company called CEB, which is now Gartner. I think they've taken that particular company over. I mean, we all know Gartner. So,
true.
So he went out and he did the survey. But before we get to that survey that he did, I'm going to tell a bit of a background story. And the background story is important to understand the context in which we go in. And then we're going to show you a clip on the research that he did and some of his findings that's pertinent to this discussion.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use some license just in terms of names and so on, just to make it a bit easier for me to relay the story, to be honest.
POPI compliant.
All right. So there's this family, right? Let's call them the Johnson family. They went on a holiday to the Ritz Hotel. All right.
Okay.
And they had a son by the name of Timmy, or they have a son by the name of Tim. And so they had an extended stay at the Ritz Hotel, and then left to go home. When they got home, Timmy got all frantic and anxious because he realized that he forgot, or he hadn't seen his favorite stuffed toy, which was called Joshi. This was a stuffed giraffe, a stuffed toy that was a giraffe, or is a giraffe, right? And he got into this quite frantic state. And
so, what do you tell your child in the situation? So, I mean, really, it's a crazy thing.
Exactly. So what he did tell his child was quite clever, actually. He said, Josh is not gone. We actually left Joshi at the hotel for an extended stay. So that calmed Timmy down. So Timmy was, so my stuffed toy is getting a bit of an extra holiday. Anyways,
Yeah.
Timmy goes to bed, and the father and
Yeah.
mother frantically looking for this Joshi because
Yeah.
they actually weren't sure where this thing was, and they knew this was his
Okay.
favorite toy. Anyways,
Yeah.
what the father then did was he wanted to do, or he checked his phone, and his phone was on silent, and there was a couple of messages on his phone, and he listened to the message, and it was actually one of the hotel staff, who was the hotel manager, and the hotel manager said, look, they forgot one of their members, family members at the hotel, and he had an image of Joshi, and there Joshi was
Sweet.
at the hotel still, and they did actually forget the toy there. So the father then relayed the story that he told to the son, basically a lie at that stage, to try and calm his son down.
Coercing other people into the lie. It's usually what we do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so this hotel manager, I mean, for most of us, what we would do is we'd say, you know what, Mr. Johnson, we'll send through, Joshi, just give us your address, blah, 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 and we'll send it.
Yeah.
But what this
Courier,
hotel manager
right?
did was he got his staff to take Joshi around the hotel and actually take photos of Joshi in the hotel in different in different scenarios. So at the pool, playing golf, at the bar. Joshi was really having, I think, a better time. He was even having a massage. I think Joshi was having a better time than most at this Ritz hotel.
I think
Anyways.
next time our family can forget me at the
Yeah.
place, just for a week or so. I think
Exactly.
it's so essential. Yeah.
So the hotel manager then packs up Joshi with a couple of gifts for the kids and sends it off, right?
That's
and
wild.
so and so he sends the pictures as well, and so there Timmy can see that the father wasn't actually lying. The father actually was telling the truth, and there was some gifts for Timmy and probably siblings and so on.
Wow.
And then the father wrote a post or an article praising the hotel, and he'll never go anywhere else. He'll stay at that hotel brand and so on. I can afford to do something like that. I mean, the Ritz hotel can't be cheap. Anyways.
I've stayed there a few times myself. But
okay, I'm glad for you. I haven't. I'd love to. So then what happened was this article got into the hands of Matt Dixon, right? And his client was asking him, so how do we delight our clients? How do we wow them like this hotel manager did to get this loyalty? And so what he embarked on was a survey to understand how to delight clients, to maintain their loyalty. Okay, so for the purposes of this discussion, loyalty for the survey meant, first of all, repurchase, what they termed as repurchase. Are you going to buy from me again as a client to the brand? Right?
Come back to my store,
Exactly. The second one was word of mouth. Are you going to talk about my brand and organization and service? And then the third one is share of wallet. So how much are you actually going to spend with me over the lifespan of our relationship? And so those are the three factors.
Size, huh?
Exactly.
I hear you.
So that was the three factors they took into consideration when they measured the loyalty. Through this journey of doing the survey to understand how to delight clients, to obtain or certainly maintain loyalty, they came across very surprising results. And so that's the results that I want to show to you today. And then I'd like to have your input on it. What is your take on it? And now just remember this is an American audience they looked at. So the sample size that they used was 125,000 customers, 5,000 service reps, and 100 companies. So quite a decent sample size.
Extensive.
Exactly. So that's what I'm going to play. I'm going to play the results of the survey, and then let's just take a look at that, and let's just not break it apart. But I'd like your opinion on it. You know, from yourself, Mushfiq, as well as the audience out there.
The first finding is this one, and this was a big head scratcher for us, but it turns out as great as that Joshy the Giraffe story feels, as much as it creates positive emotions for us, it actually doesn't really pay off when it comes to driving loyalty. Let me show you what I mean. Most companies think that the interaction between loyalty and service delivery kind of looks like this. In other words, companies believe that nobody generates much loyalty by falling below expectations when you deliver a service experience. You probably didn't need me to deliver a webinar to tell you that. But companies also tend to believe, senior executives tend to believe, that you don't get paid back with customer loyalty when you simply deliver the basics. When you just do what the customer expects, that meets expectation level, you don't really earn a lot of goodwill or loyalty from your customers. It's not until you get to the far right there, when you exceed the customer's expectations, that's where loyalty really takes off. You got to wow the customer. You got to delight the customer. You got to surprise them in some compelling and exciting way. That's where you get to that high level of loyalty. But when we tested this with data across 125,000 customers, we found that the effect was almost exactly the opposite. That's the blue curve here. This is the actual data. Now, what we found is customers also don't want a subpar service experience. No surprise there. But look how loyal customers are when we simply do what they expect. When we simply meet their expectations, we generate a lot of loyalty. And then the other big surprise is look how the curve flattens out beyond that midpoint. So when we go beyond, when we go above and beyond, when we wow the customer, we spend a lot of time and energy trying to do that, and the customer doesn't pay us back with their loyalty. Now, keep in mind, what my team was trying to study here was how you should delight the customer, not whether you should delight the customer. This was a big surprise to us when we shared this with, when we found this finding in the data. It was the first thing that jumped out. We thought it was wrong. We went back to test it multiple times, and it kept coming back the same way. And when I present this to executives, it can be a little bit like the stages of grieving. Sometimes there's anger and there's denial, and we eventually work our way to acceptance. But, the acceptance phase only comes when executives and leaders really think about this from a strategic and cost perspective, because the reality is that delight doesn't happen that often, and when it does, it's really expensive. Look here at the bottom graphic. We found in our study that delightful experiences only happen about 16% of the time, according to customers, and that delight actually increases operating costs 10 to 20%.
So, Lance, Matt Dixon has a point. His research has a point. I think that there's an interesting discussion brewing here, certainly in the SA context, because we're so used to or accustomed to saying, let's wow or delight the customer.
Agreed.
But the reality is, there's different realities. So, yeah, definitely. What do you think?
Well, my view is that I still want to delight the customer. I still want to take it further and go the extra mile. But that research is really showing contrary to that from a loyalty perspective. So let's just get this right. It's from a loyalty perspective, and the fact that it costs more to wow and delight the customer from an operational cost perspective than the actual loyalty factor plays in. So I'd really like to get the industry's view on this. We are going to have some more discussion around this in episodes to come. But please leave some comments down below. Get your voice heard here, and I'd really like to understand what you guys think about that research. And is there any other research that you've come across that sort of counters that or even corroborates that? That would be great to see as well.
My viewpoints, I'm going to reserve it for later on. But let's hear what people got to say. Lance, it's important what we eat, because we are what we eat, and we eat what we are. I don't know if it's the truth, but anyway, one thing.
Yeah, look at me. I clearly eat a lot.
That's years of call center food. I can tell you this much. But I came across this interesting take from another comedian that we keep on coming up. I'm telling you, contact centers can produce a lot of comedians.
Yeah,
and he touches on a very important food group that is related to the South African economy. Nowhere else. And it's biltong. Have a look at this one.
Well, then maybe we don't need you as a customer, Laura. Okay, have a lovely day further. As a call center agent, people frequently ask me, Waseem, how do you stay in such delectable shape? Here's a couple of meal plans that call center agents in Cape Town have been following. In the previous episode, we showed you a few examples of what a nutritious breakfast looks like. We also stressed the importance of snack time. But if there's one absolutely crucial part of your diet, it would be these guys. Biltong, usually consumed in large quantities and is available with flexible payment options. Just an FYI, if you didn't didn't pay your biltong for the previous month, you may not qualify for the benefit. One more bonus tip. People don't like sharing their biltong. So if you're one of those guys that finish your biltong and keep asking others, I do recommend eating your biltong with bread. That's all I have time for today. There's calls in the queue. Stay tuned for more.
I love this, dude. So I love the flexible payment plan and having that biltong with bread.
I remember those days. I mean, I was one of those people that was, okay, on a 3-month payment plan sometimes. When I was starting out, this is it. You know, when it's an important food group. Dried meat is an important food group in South Africa. Biltong,
definitely.
you know, and you can tell me, whoever calls into you, we're working in Cape Town. If you didn't have biltong, then there was a problem. There was something wrong with you, you know. And of course, you know, it helps if a lot of it's halal as well. So it helps a lot in Cape Town.
In Cape Town especially, yes. So Waseem Fredericks, he's a name to look out for. Check his videos out. We'll put his details below and some of the links to his videos. Check him out. So talking about food and food groups, we need to be healthy in this time, especially given the fact that we're at home so much, and I don't know how much exercise everybody's getting. I'm not getting too much, I won't lie.
You can
but
do exercises in your chair, Lance. You can.
Yeah, true.
I've tried it. It works actually in the arms.
I need to try that, and maybe we need to get somebody in to actually help us with some chair exercises.
If there's anybody out there that wants to volunteer for that, you can be our guest. Come talk to us about it. But I can teach you a few things, Lance. I can teach you. I can.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I believe, Mushfiq, you are a bit of a guru when it comes to the kitchen and whipping up together some healthy snacks, but not just snacks, some healthy drinks too. So I believe you got some stuff going on in the kitchen.
I am, and I am a self-proclaimed chef in my family. Let's take a look at a video that I've done for you guys. Yeah, without further ado, this is my citrus immune booster tea. Good day, people. This is going to be my citrus immune boosting tea. Now, you can see I'm still fully South African, and as South Africans, this is the winter time, so the chill is definitely going to be there. But this immune boosting tea, you can drink throughout the year. Now, the ingredients you're going to require for this is very straightforward. You can find it everywhere in South Africa, in any shop. What you do need is some good oranges, some lemons, some ginger, and you're going to need some turmeric, or as we know it in Cape Town, a bietjie borrie, né? A bietjie borrie. Now, turmeric has got some ancient healing powers as well as ginger, and when you combine these two explosively with the citrus, you get a different opportunity to really enhance your immune system. What brings all of this together is the one golden nugget, which is honey. And if you combine all of this into one jar, you can keep it for as long as 3 months. So let's do this, alright? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up my orange into very thin slices. Next, I'm going to cut up my lemons also into very thin slices. And what you're going to do here is you're going to try and remove all the pits, because you don't want that bitter taste from the pits from the lemon. Once I've cut up my lemons and my oranges finely, I put it into a bowl. And in the bowl goes my lemons, my oranges, my honey, and my borrie, or turmeric as some of you would know it. And once we've got that in, we put our ginger in, and we store it. Once we're ready to drink this, all we do is we take 2 teaspoons from it, we add some water to it, and there we have it, our citrus immune boosting tea. This is great for when you have a cold, just a common cold, or you feel that itchy, scratchy feeling in your throat. Take some of this immune boosting tea, and you'll be sure to feel a lot better. Remember, As a contact center agent, the most important tool that you ever have is your voice. So keep your voice healthy, keep your immune system built up, and you'll be sure to go for the next couple of months. What I'm going to do, take it out of the fridge. I'm going to put at least 2 tablespoons of citrus immune boosting tea in the cup. Maybe just one more. Add some nice hot water to that. Give it a quick stir. And it's that easy. Enjoy it. I can feel it working right now. Until next time, see you soon.
Really handy in the kitchen there, Mushfiq. I see your knife skills are really good. I think you need to teach me a few tricks there with your knife skills.
Look,
but with that said,
years of practice, Lance. Knife skills are something I always say. Don't look away when you're using a knife. You know, especially in Cape Town, it's a dangerous place.
yeah, some danger things happening if you got a knife in your hand.
Yeah.
But that looks actually quite good and healthy. I mean, the combination of the ginger and the honey.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna give that a go. Again, hit us in the comments if you are going to try it or if you have tried it, and let us know how it went.
Please do, please do. Lance, what a privilege to speak to a legal professional. POPI has been around for some time. I mean, I remember sitting as a contact center manager 12 years ago, or more, I think even. And trying to understand this new thing that was going to impact on us, because I mean, the protection of personal information is key, and it's even more crucial today. So I had the privilege of chatting to Grant Wilkinson from GBS, Global Business Services. Take a look at this clip that I produced for you guys.
Really what it looks at is to try and sort of regulate the security of data, if you want to put it that way, or information.
Okay. Yeah.
How do we actually end up processing information? So from a contact center perspective, obviously, depending on the nature of your contact center, you're dealing with a lot of personal information of individuals, contact details, sometimes ID numbers, sometimes financials if you're in that sector. And inevitably, from your perspective, from the company itself and the employee, it's ready to tighten up on the policies around this. Fortunately, though, there are a number of organizations that already are dealing with European Union-based organizations and data subjects, people whose information you have. In Europe, they call them data subjects. And already you'd have what's called the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, applicable in South Africa. So a number of the contact centers, particularly I know in Cape Town, you'd generally speaking be applying GDPR already without perhaps even having the official knowing that you're dealing with that. A lot of the guys should be okay. But some guys, if you're not dealing with that, POPI is going to put an onus on you to tighten up on your security. Look, I think the surprise comes in where people have been talking about it for so long, and I saw some consultancies saying, 1 March, then it became 1 April, and I've been in touch. Fortunately, I have a direct contact through with the CEO of the regulator and also with the regulator. So I've been in touch with them in December already. I indicate the second half of the year, possibly, And then there were rumors around, obviously not from themselves, but through other consultancies about March and April. So I sort of touched base, knocked on the door and said, look, any of this true? And they said, no, it's probably going to be second half of the year still, Grant. And surprisingly, out the blue, the 1 July regulation was announced a week before. So effective July, we
Grant, thank you for your time this afternoon. It's really been appreciated and a pleasure. And we wish you and GBS all the success going forward. And hope to see you soon once again on Contact Center SA. Don't forget to subscribe because we need more.
I have subscribed already. No problem.
Oh, fantastic.
I have subscribed already.
Fantastic.
Thanks very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Always good support in the industry.
So there you have it, Lance. Professional in the space.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's important for us to recognize this not only from a local perspective, but an international perspective. Because people are really, you know, concerned about the protection of personal information.
Yeah.
And it serves us well to know about these things. And
Agreed.
1st of July, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And again, we'd really like to get your input in terms of how you guys are dealing with the act coming into play. Has there been any change? I mean, I know for a long time we've been, as an industry, we've had GDPR or GDRP, whichever one it is, and especially with the UK clients coming through. So it might not be an issue at all for most environments. But yeah, tell us how it's impacted you guys, the new act coming into being implemented for 1 July.
That's true. And on a serious note, Lance, you notice how the legal professionals are already subscribing to this channel.
Yeah.
I'm telling you about it.
Yeah.
So you got to like and subscribe. You can't just come and comment here for nothing, because that's going to be a personal protection information situation.
And the bell.
Here. So please,
Click that bell.
please click the bell so that you know when it's coming up. Yeah.
So I hope you found that informative, and that you give us some of your comments going through some of the content that we put out in this episode. And until next time, subscribe,
Like,
comment, and ring
Don't
that
forget
bell.
that little bell. This is important, guys. Looking forward to seeing you in episode 3. And stay safe, stay focused, and we see you next time.